It's always good when guests bring their own equipment.
Absolutely. Yes.
and then we just go and try record something on a new platform. So this could be fun.
Hopefully. Yes.
We just might talk for an hour and have nothing.
Yes was to say, but that's part of life.
We've got some wood. Got some wood here. Got some beers here. What are you starting off with there, Jagrut?
Called Liberty IPA. Pretty delicious.
Yeah. And what's the other one?
Well, Liberty as well. Two Liberties.
Two Liberties. Wellington's finest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Your Wellington's finest as well, Jagrut.
No, I would not say that. I'd say probably Wellington's worst.
That's why you've been exported to the dark tips of the Waikato, on the boundaries of Auckland.
Yeah, look, absolutely. We live in Te Kauwhata, so probably 50, 70 k's away from Hamilton, probably 50, 70 k's away from Auckland. So we're just in the middle of nowhere. So perfect.
Home to Graham Norton's wine.
Oh yes, so that is actually up the road. They've got a Graham Norton winery, and that's quite cool. But you're not allowed to buy wine from there unless you're buying it from a shop. So they've got the winery there. You go there and you drive past it, but you can't sit there and have a tasting.
Oh.
Soon it might hopefully be part of our establishment, but we've only got a 4 square. It's soon to be a New World. Awesome. Maybe then.
So probably you're not on Sosh Med, so unless you're in optometry, who the bloody hell are you, mate?
I'm an optometrist. I practice in Hamilton, Frankton. Been here for about 10 years. Prior to that, I was in Auckland and then Wellington. Look, I've always worked pretty hard from the beginning. I started in my practice and I was employed for about 30 hours a week, and I worked about 55 just to get, just to make things work. We're practicing in Waikato, and we just want to help as many people as we can. In 2009, I set up a practice for a product which is called orthokeratology, or we call it shift lenses in the Waikato. The whole thing we set up was around stopping kids from getting worse with their eyes and their glasses. So what we did was we set up a clinic. We use all available evidence-based research to stop children from changing their glasses. Now, fast forward 10 years, we get referrals from our major competitors in the corporate sector, as well as our private sector competitors, where we can help people to stop their eyes from getting worse. So it's been a pretty interesting journey. Yeah.
And you're also involved with the back end of those orthokeratology. What came first? The passion for myopia? Because let people know, like, your own personal journey of myopia and what that means.
Yeah. So myopia means your eyeball has grown way longer than it should do from when you're an infant. My eyeballs unfortunately grew a lot longer than normal. And so if we look at the numbers, so your glasses can be a 1 or a 2 or 3 or 4. Mine are 12. And then I have something called astigmatism, and that's an added layer of complication. But I have these things that are wrong with me. So what happened with me is that my eyes got significantly worse from when I was 2 or 3 years of age, and then up to 13 and 14, they got way, way, way worse. So that's where I sit. When I started practicing optometry, my eyes, were pretty stable, but what we learnt about the whole thing was that, well, there's all the science to say that we can stop people's eyes from getting to like me. So no one wants to have eyes like I have, because it's just not good for the health of the population. It's not good. So when we talk about eye problems and my eye problems versus the rest of the world, we don't want to have me. We want to have other people's eye problems stop. So the treatments that we offer are related to stopping people's eyes from getting worse. Before we talk about all the treatments, so the full disclosure is that, well, look, I started in optometry in 2009 in Hamilton, New Zealand. 2010 I went to a conference and I met one of my colleagues and friends, and we continued to build a relationship around how we can stop people from getting their eyes worse. And we ended up in 2012-13 joining forces in a company that he had created, which meant that we have a product that stops eyes from getting worse. The product is called orthokeratology. So orthokeratology means reshaping the eye reversibly. And so, that's how it kind of all started. And the product is called EyeSpace, and that's a product that we have. There's 4 of us in the company. There's 3 optometrists and 1 developer, and his name is Jake, and our optometrists are Lachlan, Charlotte, and myself, and we basically all work together to try and improve and grow this message that we maybe need to just stop prescribing glasses and look at what other options there are to stop people's eyes from getting worse.
And I don't work for you, but I use your product in EyeSpace and your software in EyeSpace to implement the same thing. From my side of things, I was sort of moderately myopic, have some family history of some of the diseases that we hope to block out from stopping people being short-sighted. But to limit those downstream effects is what I'm hugely passionate about. Where I sit is trying to help people see the world to the best of their ability, and hopefully that's glasses-free or comfortable glasses, and not have these diseases which might take their side. What drives your passion for this condition that we hope is preventable and even more and more preventable?
Yeah, so I think it really, what you're talking about is, so the core of the problem. The problem is that we've got this thing called short-sightedness, and short-sightedness is when the eyeball grows longer without us knowing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can measure the length of the eyeball. I think of it like when growth in humans. So when we've got our children, and generally the feet grow longer before the body grows taller. Okay, so 6 months before the body grows taller, our foot becomes a couple of centimeters bigger. The same is true for the length of the eye. So the length of the eye grows longer, and then the glasses change. So what we're talking about in terms of how we manage and care for these people is implicitly that. So I'm in -12, and that never happened for me. I just want to make sure that we can look after these children that haven't had that same sort of growth. Like, I don't want any more people that have just as bad eyesight as I do. You know, because the reality is that, and this is a disconnect in society, the growth of my eye has meant that my eyesight is very poor. But those numbers only mean to the public that, I just need thicker glasses, I need worse eyesight correction. If everyone understood, the reality was that, well, it's not just that my glasses that are really thick and super horrible indicate that I've got a higher chance of blindness. Well, that's going to be taken quite differently. Well, what can we do to stop that? And that's how I see it.
And is your vision worse as well? So your ability to make things
so my overall vision is not as good as maybe Ryan's. Ryan's got excellent vision, but perception is reality. So I don't know for sure that what I see is not the same as what he sees. We may see the same vision on the chart, but our outdoor vision might be different. And that's kind of part of this. So
nice. So how like, I'm probably lucky in that when I came up through uni, what'd you say, 2009 you started in practice, 2010 you went to this conference. So 2010 was my first year in optometry. And so the whole way through we talked about myopia control, orthokeratology. We didn't get to practice it because I don't know why. But we did get to practice it, but it was front of mind, and so that was my sort of understanding of things. And I guess you came out therapeutically qualified.
Yeah, so therapeutically qualified means that I can prescribe medicine. But in 2009, when I graduated, I just believed that we need to stop people's eyes from getting worse.
Yeah.
So I had the education.
Yeah.
And I just applied it immediately.
Awesome.
And so we set up a clinic that was devoted solely to stopping people's eyes from getting worse. And because there was very good science at the time, but there wasn't enough science to create the groundswell.
So you had that as part of your education too?
Hey?
You had that as part of your
Absolutely.
education. Yeah.
So we had enough information for me to surmise that this is the right way to go. And it's funny. I had so I applied for a scholarship at this thing in New Zealand. We call it Snow Vision, and there were two things I had to write for the application. And it's, what do you think optometry will be in 10 years' time? And I said, well, we're going to be dealing with myopia control. And the second thing we're going to do in New Zealand is we're going to be prescribing medicine for glaucoma. Glaucoma is an eye disease that we have, and it's global, and both those things have come true. But I didn't know that was what was going to happen. It's just what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt about it. It was so strong to me that we need to stop this problem called short-sightedness. That would be the future. And now, 10 years later, so I was very late on it, on my prediction, but we're now, all optometrists are now thinking quite strongly about how do we treat this problem. There are 4 treatments. There's an eye drop that you instill at night. There's a soft contact lens which was developed by the University of Auckland. There's a hard contact lens that you wear overnight, and there is also this thing that everyone seems to forget about, and it's called outdoor time. And outdoor time is really useful because it costs you nothing, but it stops children from getting worse because we can spend more time outdoors. We can balance our technology use. Like that's really, really incredibly important for what we want to do to stop people's eyes from getting worse. Anyway.
And one new thing now with our glasses,
Oh yeah, so there's also a glasses option. You can talk about that.
Yeah, so which I don't know if it's a cop out or what, but it's made the conversation easier. So I had a mildly short-sighted wee boy come in the other day, but he has very strong family history of 3 siblings and a mother who's -6, so half the way to where Jagrut is, but also where the risk for problems starts to increase quite greatly, and it just sort of gave us the tool to be able to say we're going to prescribe something to try and slow this down and start to introduce that topic. And is there sort of a case for people who are at risk and have no prescription to wear these glasses as well?
Oh, look, absolutely. So the biggest thing our profession will go through is the ethical dilemma, because the ethics work like this. If you don't have short-sightedness, then your risk for retinal detachment and glaucoma is 0. Okay. If you go from no prescription to something, so -1, -2, -3, doesn't matter what it is, the number is higher than nothing, well then your risk increases. So we've got this ethical dilemma where we go, okay, well, the patient comes into the room
at 7 years old,
wherever I work at. I might work in a corporate practice, I might work in private optometry, doesn't matter where we work. And I've got to make a decision. Well, if I'm not educated enough on the current science, I might go, well, hey, look, you need some new glasses. That's fine. That's actually perfectly reasonable, because the current science says, well, as long as you prescribe the full correction, that's the full correction of someone's eyesight problem, then that's not an issue. But then 6 months later comes along and the glasses have changed again. So then we're in a very ethical dilemma. We go, well, what do? We either prescribe some new glasses or discuss the fact that we know that things are changing and we need to stop things from getting worse. So that involves, we'll discuss about 4 options now. We've got the glasses. There's a glasses option that's available. We've got 2 contact lens options that are available. And we've got a drug option that's available.
And we should point out the glasses options are special glasses.
Yeah, so they're not normal glasses that you can just buy off the shelf. These are glasses that are custom made for the patient, and they actually help. Well, they may help to stop people's eyes from getting worse. You know, this is all brand new stuff that we're working with. The contact lens based options are very well researched. We've got enough information about them. But it's just what we do next, I think. Yeah.
So a lot of the ortho-K sort of stuff comes out of Asia, right?
When you say ortho-K, what do you mean?
Sort of the knowledge. Is that correct?
No. So in the 1960s, we learnt about orthokeratology, which is reshaping the eye when you sleep in a contact lens at night. In the mid-90s, so 1995, we had something called accelerated orthokeratology, which is reshaping the eye, but the contact lenses that we kind of know everything about. We have really good manufacturing technology now. We can understand how the product works and how we can make it better, all those sorts of things. The manufacturing technology is amazing. We can now cut contact lenses in a way that's super precise. But yeah, that's where it all is right now.
So where did the application for myopia control start?
So in the last probably 5 years, we've had a resurgence in people talking about it. It's been there for a while. Like, it's lots of people have known that if we treat short-sightedness with a product called orthokeratology, where you sleep on lens at night, it just tends to, or there's an association that things slow down, like things stop getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
We've never really known. More recently, in the last 3-4 years, we've had a whole bunch of science say that, yeah, that actually is true, and it works really well. We've had science before that, but generally accepted science. That's what's changed. And there's other things that also work. So eye drops that work at night before you sleep. There's a specially designed soft contact lens that works before you sleep, and that works well too. So that's kind of what we've known.
And like the soft contact lens is kind of a engineering approach. Is that where the orthokeratology sort of came in, or that was just a byproduct of what some people were using and seeing?
I'm unsure. Honestly, I can't answer that question. My suspicion is that they've probably reviewed what has been happening up to this point.
Yeah.
And they said, well, could we do this in a soft contact lens? If that's the case, then yeah, that's how that got developed. But you'd need to talk to the developers of the product, the soft lens product, to work that one out.
Yeah. Awesome. You got mail. So your other side of these special lenses is keratoconus. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, where was that your main reason for joining Roses? Is the sort of legacy of the rose lens in keratoconus, or how did that come about?
Yeah. So I when in my final year of university, I fit. Doesn't sound like many people, but I fit 4 people with contact lenses that were
That's 4 more
complicated.
Than me. That's 4 more than me.
Okay, so
that's a lot of people.
And so that's where I developed a love for contact lenses. And so I thought, well, I think that's something I want to do a bit more of. And so when I applied for jobs, I had 4 job offers, and 3 of them paid a lot more than what I got paid at the practice that I ended up choosing. And the reason why was because it just felt right, and I got to learn about a subspecialty that I really had a lot of passion for and loved, which is contact lenses. People think about contact lenses like, soft contact lenses that they get from online or wherever you get them from. Most of the patients that I see have had problems with those, and so we need to look at how we can solve that solution. So that's where it kind of all started for me. I really enjoy rigid or hard contact lenses. It's something that just I wanted to learn from when I started there in 2009. I was really lucky to get tuition from someone who was just retiring. And although it was my lowest paying job of all the job offers I got, it's been the most lucrative from a health, wealth and happiness point of view. I took a risk because I go, well, I could go to Christchurch, I could go to Wellington, I could go to all these other places, but it just ended up working out really well. Yeah.
So with Wellington, you're from Wellington. You're very, very strong around family. Like, that must have been a little bit tough.
Oh, it was hugely tough. Like my family is my number one. That's my number one driver. It doesn't matter how much money I earn or and that sort of stuff. Like the number one thing is how is this thing going to affect my family? So that was pretty tough because my mum lives in Wellington, then my wife and I live not in Wellington. That's been pretty challenging, but it's just part of it. Like when I started at Roses, I was employed for like 40 hours a week, 39 hours a week maybe. I'll probably work on average about 50 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care about money. It's not important to me. But what was important to me was the whole, is this going to work for our business? Is this going to work for what the culture we want to set? And it just did.
Mm-hmm.
And it has. It's provided for our family. It's provided for everything. Now I'm an owner. It's quite different to when I was an employee. But, geez, it's really important to understand the process for me.
The process
of how you get from nothing to something.
Yeah.
I was an employee to begin with.
Yeah.
Now I'm no longer an employee. I don't really know what happened. I just know I'm not an employee now.
Yeah.
Because I just looked at how I can help. And I think it's really important in every industry. It doesn't matter what industry you work in. It's just, how can I help you to be better? And then opportunities present themselves, and then now I get to be better.
Mm-hmm.
That would be.
So where does that? Do you know what the root of that standard that you hold comes from?
Definitely from my upbringing, but the root of that standard is just like, you got to work hard if you want anything in life.
Yeah. So what about where does it show up in your upbringing?
Oh, just my mother. Really simple. Like, my mother's always said, it's nothing about materialism. It's not about what you can earn or what you have. You just have to operate fairly in life. So for example, in our business, you might think, materially you're going to earn more money. That's not what it's about. It's about, how can I support the employees that we currently have to earn enough money to survive and have an amazing family life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what drives my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really share it with anyone. That's what it is. The byproduct is, yes, we get profit. There's no denying that.
Mm.
But if that's not happening, that internal thing where the staff are not doing well, I'm a loser.
Mm-hmm.
I don't win. I hate it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm quite a direct person. I will tell you how I feel and think about something because I want you to be successful.
Yeah. So
but that's how I feel about the concept anyway.
So do you
I might not be right, but I've done pretty well on it so far.
Yeah. You sort of feel that provides safety and a sort of weight off someone's mind to then be able to go and perform, like whatever task your employees have. That safety.
Well, the problem is my communication. Like, as you heard before we started this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, clearly my communication is wrong.
Mm.
Because not all my staff understand that concept of what we're doing. So it's a learning.
Yeah, so I guess that's
part of a learning.
That's like human relationship sort of.
Yeah, and because I'm too young to know the answer.
Mm-hmm. So something we we were talking about last time I was here, so 2 weeks ago,
Yes.
we were talking about experienced practitioners being almost psychologists, like they are whizzes at human interaction. Is that kind of what you're talking about with being too young?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so in our profession, for those that don't really know, we really just learn about how people interact and behave over a long period of time. So sometimes we need to offer advice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what happens. 99% of the time we say nothing and we just, carry on about the day. But sometimes after about 20 years of seeing someone, you feel okay to say something. And that's really what optometry is, don't you think?
Yeah. So you in a perfect world would have seen them probably at least 10 times in those 20 years, right?
Yeah. Every 2 years we see someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just say something then. But well, we say something every time. It's about our profession is around building relationships.
Yeah.
I think.
So on that, how do you're into sort of personality profiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where do you sort of fit yourself, and what are your sort of characteristics, and where do you think they fit into the profession?
So ask it in a different way because I can't.
So say with like Myers-Briggs, I feel quite extroverted, but then two of my bosses are very extroverted, and I kind of feel like I'm down the scale all of a sudden. But I get a lot of energy out of an interaction with people.
Yeah. So my wife will tell you what my Myers-Briggs is because I don't really know, but I know that well, look, hey, one of my things is that I need to work well with others.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure if I do that all the time. But that's part of it. I've got a good vision on what we need to be and where we need to go.
Yeah.
Is that always realistic? I'm unsure. But so far, things are going well.
Mm-hmm.
And we're pretty successful.
Mm-hmm.
What would I say for you? Yeah, it's all about. I think for me, it's all about getting alignment with all of my partners in the business, because I work in a business where my 50% shareholder is amazing, and he's always got my back, 100%, no matter what. So I'm very comfortable in that relationship that we have. We look at our relationship like a marriage. It's a business relationship, but it's a marriage. So we don't do anything without each other's approval.
Mm-hmm. So, like, you've got a reasonable sporting background as well. Do you sort of see, like, the whole thing's a team? Is there sort of a parallel that the pair of you are kind of the coaches or the captains? Where do you think that sort of feels?
I wish it was like sports, because it's just not.
Yeah.
I really wish it was like sport. I love sports. I've played a lot of sport, and
is it just because it's like outcome all the time? There's outcome all the time, and
it's always about the outcome. So, like, okay, look, hey, we want to have a win, and it doesn't matter how everyone feels. It's about, like, let's all drive together for the win.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I love about sport.
Yeah.
You know, like, say we're playing cricket or football or hockey. It doesn't matter what. The goal is, okay, we need to win this cup or this championship or this whatever. But that doesn't happen that way. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
It frustrates me a lot, but what it's teaching me is patience, and I think that's really important in life, because no matter what happens in life, you just gotta sit back, relax, and understand patience. Because my personal nature is to just try and grab something and get it more. So I think that's what my lesson is right now. It's learning about.
So what are the sort of tools you're doing for that? Like that balance between ambition and patience, drive and
I have no balance.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah.
But I love. But what the things that I'm trying to implement right now is, okay, so I drive home.
Yeah.
And then I stop before I get home and I just decompress.
Yeah.
And then I go home, I walk across the threshold, and then I put my phone on airplane mode.
Yeah.
And that's all I do. So these little things will help me, I think.
Yeah. How do you start the day?
So we get up early.
You've got a 1-year-old. Let's
Oh yeah, so that's something you need to know.
Yeah.
So we have a 1-year-old, but and look, he sets some of the program of the day. But I'm really lucky. My wife and I are looking at our personal health, and so we're having smoothies every day.
Yeah.
So a green smoothie every day that's done by someone who knows the guru on smoothies. But we get those, and that's sustenance. The end goal is that we actually also wake up and do exercise for half an hour before we go to work. But that's a work in progress.
Oh, for sure.
I've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
From starting this, and it's been great to do it. It makes you feel good. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. So yeah, one of your pillars is health, and
I can't grow further in business or anything without looking after my personal health.
Yeah.
That's what I've realised.
Yeah.
Because I can work really hard, I can work and I can only sleep 4 hours a day. Amazing, great. What a winner am I, right? But I can't do it unless my personal health can let me keep carrying on.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've actually started investing in personal health supplements, like things we can do, as well as not drinking during the week, not doing X, Y, Z during the week. So we can actually make it all work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Excellent. That's my thought.
Nice. I remember when you're partly to blame of my paradigm shift when it comes to nutrition. Like I come through sports and sports nutrition and all those types of things, carbo lighting, and I remember you were the first person that said to me, I've been doing this keto thing where I don't eat all day and then I have a high fat, high protein meal for dinner and I feel great. And I was just so confused. That was like when we first moved into the place in Hampton. You were doing a period of doing that, and I was just like, what is this about? How did you're like, as we've already sort of alluded to, you're a bit of a, like, people accuse me of being a early adopter, but you're far ahead of me, man.
Well, I used to be an athlete, and obviously, clearly, I'm not now. But from
I would
still
wouldn't like to meet you in the nets, mate.
But that's just, it's one of these things, like you look at the science, you look at everything that how it works, and it might be that the keto philosophy works for a number of people. It's probably not going to work for most people. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
but it will work for a number of people. It just happened to work for yourself. I don't think it's necessarily worked for me because of a number of reasons. But the big things for me are like, well, look, hey, let's look at diet, let's look at everything in our life, and let's maybe do a little bit less social media. Like let's just look at those sorts of things and see what we can do to make things work.
So, but on that, what are you seeing in practice? Obviously, your wife's got 3 daughters that are exposed to that. So it's not technology for them. It's the thing that's part of their life. That's what I thought was something I heard quite interesting. Technology is only things that are new for that generation. Social media is part of the world.
Yes. Yeah. So probably the best thing I can explain is each of the 3 daughters. So we have 3 daughters and 1 boy. The eldest daughter is 22.
Yeah.
And she will communicate on an iPhone or an iPad as and when she kind of feels she needs to communicate with her friends. The middle daughter uses a lot more technology, but not a huge amount. And she will still, at the end of each day, she will still stop, communicate with the family. The youngest daughter, who's 14, has got the most interesting behaviour. She is engrossed in technology.
Mm-hmm.
She still loves and adores her family, but she's immersed in TikTok. She's immersed in everything else related to that sort of subject matter. Each of these girls are 4 years apart in birth. So the world we live in with Isabella is quite different to the world we live in with Adriana, which is quite different to the world we live in with Helena. None of these 3 things are bad. It's just how we live, laugh and love through that world. So the youngest girl, what we're doing right now is we're actually restricting her from technology. And she's not happy about it. But that's what it is. For her.
To sort of plug into the natural world as well, or?
Yeah, so what's really funny is, when she's naughty, and let's say she gets her technology taken away from her, she becomes instantly, boom, like a lovely girl that she's always been. And she always is, by the way. So she will go out and play on the skateboard. She'll go out and play on the swing. She'll do all these things that are there. That are there for her. Yep.
Yeah.
But that's just, I don't know, something new.
Yeah. No, it's definitely now for you and I with that next generation where it's there, it's part of their life, and then the threat of total immersion with the likes of AI and augmented reality and all those sorts of things. Have you ever put on an Oculus or anything like that?
I've never put on an Oculus, but I can tell you that I've got a very good understanding with virtual reality.
Yeah.
Because, we all live with it.
Yes.
We may not know it. So, so today, for example, I said to Siri, hey Siri, take me here.
Yep. There she goes.
That's part of virtual reality.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I need some help. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Technology is helping me do that, and they are very proficient in it.
Yeah.
I said, hey Siri, take me to 106 Shackleton Road.
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
So the iPhone knows that I'm here, and they want to help me, but I can't do it, without accepting their thing. That's what's happened to me today.
Yeah.
So it's just integrating into society.
Also, like you've got that car, your phone will immediately, your car becomes your phone immediately.
Yeah, so I've just bought a new car, and the car allows me to plug my phone in, and there's this whole thing called CarPlay or Android Auto.
Yeah.
And you plug it in, and it takes a lot of administration away from you.
Yeah.
You know, you can ask the car that, look, hey, I'd love to go here. Can you give me the directions?
Yeah.
And boom, automatically does it.
Yeah. And that was what I was listening to Elon Musk, love him or hate him, the other day, and it was one of those sort of things.
Is that the new one?
The latest one.
Oh, I've not seen it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
And then of course, the world's raining down on him because he's just moved to Texas, and a natural weather event has happened, and the power grid's not working so well. But I think, again, being patient in the long game with someone like Elon Musk, like what he's done in Adelaide, I think that he might actually go and do something about the power grid in Texas.
Did he do that in Adelaide? Did that actually happen?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know that. So he actually said, you know how he did the bet? He said, look, hey, I'll fix this.
Yeah.
He did that.
Yeah, he's nutter. He's got
there is actually zero media coverage on that. That's wrong.
He's got.
He followed through. He promised something, and he did it.
That's even, I don't understand. Like, he is human, but does incredible things in his incredible mind across a wide array of things, and
how does he do it?
And perform, so, for example, the rockets into space stuff. He actually performs and delivers on that. Yet he might, have a discussion with Joe Rogan about the politics and the sort of raise taxes of California. And the moment something bad happens to Texas, they're like, oh, see, look, that's what Texas.
How do you think he does it?
How do you think he does it?
Like, I'm asking you. So, what do you think he does to make that happen?
To execute, to develop.
Yeah, like, what's the thing that he does that no one else does? It's a very loaded question.
There's a lot.
He takes massive action immediately.
Yes.
That's all he does.
So he front foots his...
He goes, let's do this, and he actually does it.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
He
goes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We're buying Bitcoin. And that happens.
Yeah.
Would you like to buy a property in Waipokara? Yes, you'd love to buy one.
Yeah.
Do you buy it? No. You don't take action. Why? Well, there's all these reasons.
Limiting beliefs.
Yeah, there's lots of things that reasons why you can't do it.
Yeah.
This is the guy that he is. He does that. He goes, well, I made no money.
Is that what you're kind of getting out of like the going from employee to owner? Like,
you just have to think like you're an owner.
Yeah.
And then it all just happens.
So that's a lot of the sort of attraction stuff, which I'm sure Elon Musk doesn't believe in.
Oh no, he does. He definitely does.
In what capacity, though?
Because he needs approval before he makes a decision. Really simple.
Elaborate on that.
So Elon Musk will go, well, look, hey, I want to do this. But he won't make that statement until he's got approval from others.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
So do you think within his network he's already...
Correct, yeah. He's going like, hey, I want to do this. Oh, yeah. Push go on there.
So how do you... What's your network at the moment like?
My wife is my number one person. I've been very lucky that every decision so far in my life that I've made is is being successful or has been successful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I just believe in positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that come from?
When you have nothing,
Yeah.
you know how to grow. As simple as that, man. When you've literally had nothing for your whole life, and you have to support your family, you just get an innate responsibility. Well, what could be something that could help me be better?
Yeah.
And that's all that's happened to me. And my family and my life. My wife is on a different sort, but she's had a similar background to me.
Yeah.
My background has been, just from nothing, and I'm really grateful to have power.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I can have power and have a conversation with you.
Yes.
In my bedroom that I have to pay power for. Like, there's all these things, and I'm like, wow, I can do this.
Yeah, so
I've never had that before in my life.
that's really good.
We used to have literally nothing. Like, we used to be like, okay, well, we didn't have microphones, all the stuff,
Laptops,
all of these things.
Yeah.
We had nothing.
Yeah.
And we just had to go without. So that's part of what drives me. But I want to spread a message.
Mm-hmm.
And the message is, no matter how bad it is, it can be better.
Yeah, I had a really, I haven't meditated for a while, but I caught myself out on something the other day. It was like cars are so incredible and so great, but the time you have to spend money on them, like, is such an easily grind to get you down. So I needed new tyres, and I was like getting the new tyres, and I was walking away from the tyre shop, you know, before while it was being done, down on myself, and I was just like, wow, I was like, you can flip that around, like, how great is it that you get new tyres?
Yeah, you can now travel to see your daughter.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I said.
That's
what I said
that's literally the
my
thing
car is
I
safe.
think about.
My car is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I spoke about that. Funny you say that. I spoke about that today with my mum.
Yeah.
And my mum's like, well, I'm sure I want to buy a new car or not. She's over 17. She doesn't really need a new car. She's a lovely car that will work really well for her for the next, unfortunately, to her demise.
Yeah.
But if she chose a new car, she's still my new car.
Yeah.
And my new car is a Kia. Kia is a Korean brand. And she's like, wow, this car basically drives for me.
Yeah. Did she drive it home today?
Yeah, I got to drive it home today.
Yeah.
Just so she could see, like, what's different to a normal car. So she drove it home. And now she's like, oh, maybe I need a new car.
New car.
But the whole thing really is about, well, if we live and laugh and love once, what's it all really about?
Yeah.
You know? You got a lot of things going on in your life.
Mm.
You got to travel.
Yeah.
Relationships.
And that's why the car is important.
Yeah, but wouldn't you love to have an amazing car that drives itself?
Yeah, like hearing Elon Musk talk about Teslas driving themselves. I'm like, oh, God, that'd be awesome.
You're right?
Yeah.
It's not always practical, but oh, wow.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something, I think my leaning was, whatever you do, just enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
So for me, the experience is life. I used to care a lot about how quickly I could get ahead.
Yeah.
But now it's about value. Because we only have a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So the time we have, let's just look at how well it's spent.
Yeah. like I was on a podcast the other day, and one of the sort of questions I sort of had, I got asked was kind of like, how do I think about things? Unfortunately, it was to the end, but it was about running that ultra that I did, and how'd you go about it? And I just said that I try to approach everything like from an elite mindset, and that comes from sport. It comes from being inspired by elite
100 or nothing.
Yeah. So like, even though I was going there as a competitor, I was thinking about like how, if kind of like what you were saying before, if it was possible, like say I was the best person, how would I approach it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's hard because not everyone thinks like that, but it's very frustrating at the same time because like, the way I look at the world is so different.
Yeah. So on the micro,
and in lots of people's minds, it's really, really wrong.
Yeah.
It's really wrong the way I think about the word.
I've been called arrogant plenty of times.
You're not arrogant. You're just a fuckwit.
As I talked about last night, sure is that you?
Yeah. So last night, for any listeners who think we're talking about like, hey, are you sure that's not you or it's just me? and that was exactly the same thing. It's not arrogance. It's just, well, maybe it is arrogance. I don't know. If you're really passionate about something, really genuinely believe in something, then you're gonna follow it.
Yeah, it's interesting thing, like passion. And I guess that's kind of what you're saying about like, the real mundane example of buying a house in a certain location. It's like when you've got passion, you like bowl through barriers. You kind of get blinkers on when you're passionate.
But it all just works out.
Yeah, and it goes and it flows.
Yeah.
And again,
because everyone's so happy to support the passion.
Yeah, and it's even been like the case of early days coming here. We were discussing, well, what's important. You got to see your daughter, and I was just like, yeah, I got to see my daughter. And for some reason,
let's remove the barrier.
Yeah, remove the barrier. And you're like, so what holds you back? And I was like, oh, the drive, the petrol, and all that sort of stuff. And then it's like nearly been a year later, and I've been coming here most fortnights. Like, nothing different happened. I didn't get a pay rise. You
still can do it.
I got a different car, but
you have a wonderful place to now grow a family.
Yeah,
that's the main thing that drives me.
Yeah, it's
my wife doesn't always agree. That's my driver. Yeah, that's what it is.
As in, she doesn't think that that's your perspective.
Because the side effect of wanting to grow a family is a need to earn money.
Yeah.
And I understand very clearly, and I think everyone that listens to this podcast should understand this, is that money is a vehicle. It's never the answer.
So, I've brought it up a few times in my journal. I put in the front of it it's called the Unofficial Goldman Sachs Guide to Being a Man, and one of those guides is realize that money facilitates spontaneity, and so that's that ability to be able to do those things.
Yeah, so like I say, money's a vehicle, and that's an example of a vehicle.
Yeah, I think the contrast for
we always do.
The time is money thing, but actually the money facilitates the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So my elite concept on the micro level, what was the pathway to playing New Zealand indoor cricket like?
Oh, just once again, it's just right place, right time.
Yeah.
Being positive. I was really lucky.
But what was the situation? What was the scenario? Flesh that out. Like,
Or just played a lot of indoor cricket with a good friend, and one of the guys in our team was the New Zealand fast bowler for indoor cricket, and it just all happened that way.
Yeah. So what's like Chris Harris has been in the New Zealand indoor cricket team. Like, what's the level of playing indoor cricket?
Well, it's just so he just retired, but when I was playing cricket for indoor cricket, it was just like we all just played in Wellington, and it all just worked out, and it's just right place, right time, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had a World Cup that happened to be in New Zealand and in Wellington, and it just all worked out. And the level, the standard, the Australian cricket team,
yeah,
phenomenal. Like, just on another planet.
And so, being smaller, is it complete accuracy in what you're doing? Is that the level, or is it tactically?
Do you mean like the pitch?
Yeah. So where they're bowling, where they're hitting it.
No. So the best players have got amazing hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
That's what my professional opinion is. They're just phenomenal. And no one ever knows them. They've played for many years because they're not cricket outside of the indoor sports arena.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you'll know an All Black.
No, yeah.
But you won't know an under-19 All Black. You won't know them. Do you know what I'm saying?
General public,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
General public won't know them. And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
How it's been.
Yeah.
So it's a lovely sport to play, indoor cricket, and Chris Harris was a huge part of indoor cricket. He retired. No one knows about it at all now. Nathan McCallum,
yeah,
probably, but
was he around when you were playing?
No, not at all.
So, like, it's an interesting concept for a sport as well. That it's the game, the international game. Like cricket now is like worth millions of dollars. The auction the other night.
Not in New Zealand.
Yeah, but the auction the other night changes people's lives.
Yeah. So okay, who's made money in the last 2 nights? Who are the 2 or 3 that you know?
Was it Jameson, the bowler?
Yep. And how much did he make?
So 190,000 or something like that.
He made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? For 6 weeks of play.
Yeah.
That's just part of it. Crazy.
Yeah.
None of that has ever happened in indoor cricket.
No, yeah, that's what I was getting at. Like, is you play cricket, and so it's like, I've got to be out on the oval all day on Sunday and often Saturday, Sunday, and then if I play provincial, then I'm playing 3 and 4 days, and then I play, I don't even know what it's called now. Like, it used to be State Shield or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the insurance company. And then, we've got 2020s and we've got 1 days and all those sorts of things. And there's just so many tiers to be an international. And then the international stage now has almost become the chance to get in the IPL. Like,
yeah.
So, do you think that top end is taken away from the community thing of on a Wednesday night going to the nets and playing indoor cricket?
Because we're really lucky in New Zealand. We've got a really good grassroots.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are still going to want to be passionate about the game.
The netball, indoor netball, you always hear about people recruiting for indoor netball, but when it comes to indoor cricket, it becomes niche.
Because most of the indoor cricketers are actually NZ players, so
you go along and get your ass kicked.
Yeah, it's like their practice round.
Yeah.
It's maybe not that widely spoken.
Yeah.
But I don't really think anyone complains.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal. I'm just pretty happy I got to share some time.
Yeah. So did you take your skills onto the Oval?
Never. Just lucky to play in an environment where we got to.
So how did you end up playing indoor? Did you play outdoor?
Oh, I played a bit of outdoor, but I played a lot of outdoor, but I just with the college I worked at.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the college I had school at. I just kept it. I seemed to not get the advantages that I would get. My bowling figures were, because I'm a bowler.
Yeah.
I'd get like 5 for 13. And I'd get
Outdoor,
5 wickets for 13 runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a regular basis, like not just once or twice. I get my best figures are 7 for 4. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then just go, well, it's obviously not me.
Yeah.
It's obviously the selectors, and there's a whole bunch of people there. But was lucky to play the same sort of cricket in indoor.
Yeah.
And then I was lucky. And so I got to play higher than the grade that maybe I thought I should have played.
Yeah.
That's all it's about.
What's your focus as a bowler in indoor?
It's exactly the same as outdoor. It's basically taking wickets, right, and negative runs. The best thing about indoor cricket is having negative runs.
Yeah.
So every time you bowl someone out in indoor cricket, for those who don't know, you get -5 runs. You don't have that in outdoor cricket. In outdoor cricket, you bowl someone out, you've got them out.
Because they're there for 2 overs, 4 overs?
4 overs.
4 overs, yeah.
In a batting partnership. So the big thing is the partnership.
Yeah.
It's a really strong relationship you need to have if you're batting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so what was your tactic as a batter?
Oh, just
obviously get plus.
Everyone would call them down ups. So just if you get a ball that comes to you, you smack it down hard into the ground, you bounce it up so high, it's the top corner of the right net.
Yeah.
And then you get 2 runs for free. So that's
you don't have to run.
No, you run.
Yeah.
But if you bang it there, then no one can touch it. So no one can run you out. They can't do anything.
Yeah.
That's your ideal goal.
And so you're still exchanging the strike?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So you it's like you're blocking. So you get up and you go bang. The ball comes down. You hit it in the top corner, so they can't field it.
Yeah.
They can't fuck you over for running you out. And you just walk through for a single. You think it's a single, it's 2.
Yeah. And the run out is only at the
either end is fine.
So where's the wicket? Is the wickets in the middle of the net?
Wickets are at your batting end and the bowling end.
Oh, on the net. Yes. Yeah. I only played that season.
It's fine.
Yeah. No, good times. So, what drives you to keep learning?
I think it's really important we always learn.
Yeah.
Same with you. I'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
Like inappropriate. I always say, look, hey, you need to do this or that. We all got to keep learning.
Absolutely. So
I'm really lucky because I have an environment where I can keep learning, and that's all I care about. Keeping on learning. I don't ever want to be in an environment where someone says to me, "No, you can't keep learning."
So, on that sort of, this kind of goes back to optometry. Like
what's that?
With our
What's optometry?
What's optometry? What is that thing? With our continued learning, it's now, we used to have sort of specific types of things that we had to learn. So clinically and then generally. And now they've kind of bundled it all up and you get to keep most of those points. So you could basically do your 4 years in one space of time. Yes. Do you think that that's taking away from that forced learning?
Oh, I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I was like, it's handy, because the learning you've done's not gone to waste, but then at the same time it means that you don't, you relax.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, that's paused.
Right. Personally,
Yeah.
that's the most important thing for me. Anyway.
So I was saying, from a professional perspective, there's like this awesome incentive to learn, but then they're kind of taking away the payoff for learning.
Who takes away the payoff?
That's true. Yeah, they're correct. Because like the key word there is continued personal or professional
Absolutely.
development. Yeah.
For me, it's always been about, look, hey, I don't care what someone else is going to put on me. I'll work my hardest to grow. If I can possibly add some value to whatever I'm doing, win.
So
but what the attitude needs to be for everyone is like, okay, let's say you start from nothing.
Yeah.
You got no resources, you've got nothing to help you forward, you've got no one to support you, and you're behind you becoming an optometrist. What the hell do you do?
So you've graduated?
You just graduated. You've got a $80,000 loan. $96,000 loan might be an option. Let's just say it's $100,000.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you're negative 100. How the hell do you pay that off?
$350 a fortnight.
Yep. Every fortnight you pay $350 every fortnight. So that's still
for 11
nothing.
years.
That doesn't. Does that work? Does that math work? Still?
What's,
$350 every fortnight? No, surely that's not enough. Surely you need to pay more.
No, that's what.
$350 every fortnight for. Oh well, there's no interest, eh?
No.
Okay, got it. Right, fair. Like, how do you do that? Well, for me, I ignored the fact that I even had a loan, and I just go, well, I need to earn some money. And my business...
what do you mean by ignored the fact you had a loan?
Well, okay, I had to have a loan.
Yes.
Because my family is so poor
that
that's how it was for me. So I had a loan that paid my tuition. It paid also other things for me to be able to survive at optometry school.
Yep.
And that included like accommodation and things like that. Yeah. And so we got extra funding for that. I was still short a significant amount of money, so I, in addition to my 4.5 or 4 papers a year to 5 papers a year, however it worked, like with the maximum amount of papers per semester that I had to work.
Mm.
In addition to that, I worked 30 hours a week minimum.
Wow. Where
at? Liquorland, Newmarket. So Newmarket used to have a Dominion Breweries owned Liquorland. It was one of the only ones left before it got sold and became a Liquorland to a private individual. His name was Phil. Anyway, we
I went to that Liquorland last week.
So I worked there.
Yeah.
And for my whole degree, and they gave me a significant number of hours a week, at least 30. And it all just worked. And so,
on the Liquorland topic, was that where you sort of got the Rabbit Ranch introduction, or was that?
Yeah, it was actually. So Rabbit
that's also
Ranch,
what I bought at the Liquorland. Was
so when I had when Dominion Breweries used to own Liquorlands, and that particular one, I had one appreciation night. So every Friday we'd have one appreciation. So the manager at the time, his name was Morris, lovely man, genuinely lovely man. He would teach us all about wine. Yeah. So we could recommend it to others. And we had probably a 500 square metre floor to sell wine. So it was a very large area to sell from. And he he'd go through the extensive liquor cabinet. So I've had everything.
Nice.
I've literally tried every amazing bottle of red wine. I've tried every single bottle of sparkling wine that you can have, and I call it sparkling because it's champagne. It's all these weird and wonderful things, but that's what it is, and we've tried it, and it's lovely.
And so where did the GHDs come in while we're talking about you?
Oh, so to make some money on the side, all of my girlfriends I grew up in Wellington, and a few of my girlfriends, the girls that I knew that were friends, came up to Auckland as well and studied, and they all use these things called GHGs, which is a good hair day. It's a way
Is that what it stands for?
Yep. A great hair day, a good hair day, something like that, and it's a way to straighten your hair. So I looked at that product, and I looked at how I can import that product, and so I imported that product from the UK, and I could make a significant amount of money from just importing and reselling it. So I did that at the time.
Have you listened to Gary V? Gary
I don't know
Vaynerchuk?
who that is.
No, okay. So here's this thing called immigrant mentality.
What does that mean?
It's like kind of what you're getting at, like just when you come from nothing, what can you do to make it work?
Yeah, so my whole philosophy in life is around how can we be better. And I'm really fortunate right now. We've got a couple of acres of property, and Ryan's coming to stay, and it's really lovely. But it's still, my mentality is still the same. It doesn't really change. Like we've grown up from nothing, and it's just about how can we make things better.
Yeah.
Like I want Ryan and his daughter to have a lovely life, and that's part of the reason why I want them to come and spend some time with us.
Yeah, we massively appreciate it. Yeah, I hope I pass that on every time we leave. But
yeah. I mean, like, to me, it doesn't. It's not about appreciation. It's about like you get to actually enjoy some time together.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned about all this sort of stuff is that it's really about how can we create scenarios to spend more time together.
Yeah, that's good.
Because that's the only thing that really gets the world going around. I don't have to do that, but it's nice to do it.
Yeah, it's something that's why we vibe, because it's something I talking of tools and my journaling. It's one of the things I do is sort of future gratitude, and that's one of the things I'd love to look back on and be grateful for, is that to create this position in place where friends and family and people and anyone can come and hang out and have space and time and have conversation. That's why I love the podcast things, because you create a space to have conversation, but I'd also love to actually create a space to hang out and relax and stay.
One thing I'd love to interview you about is you've got a very disciplined mindset around meditation and just the way you operate in life. Like, I think you've got an amazing thing that you do, but no one interviews you about it. You interview others about what you do. I'm useless at that, what you do, but I love what you do.
Yeah, that I see it, and I'm probably just influenced by them. The book Tim Ferriss wrote, Tools of Titans, is exactly that. There's like a whole, to use the term Bible, of tools that you can use to sort of uphold the pillars. Now, you can kind of look at it that's where the sort of self-help comes unstuck, because you've got to, what we're talking about before, you've got to look at it, you've got to implement it, you've got to have all the external factors align. But I kind of see them as that if I can tick off those things, then I'm doing my part to align things. I'm doing as much as I can.
Do you
to
take
align
massive action though?
in some things. Yeah.
Do you want to take more massive action?
Yeah. It's that it's
Well,
always,
this or not, it doesn't bother me.
it's always
Like,
it's
you can
always
just delete the slate.
it's always
Doesn't
always
matter,
that
I don't care.
it's always that like that fear thing, the fear of failure that
Fear of failure is exactly what a stag would do.
yeah.
He's got fear of failure.
Yeah. No.
Fuck you, man. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's,
Fear of failure is nothing. Like, I fail all the time.
Yeah.
And the only way I've ever succeeded in life is by failing. I'll tell you that for free. You can put that on the fucking whatever you want.
oh, it's good.
But that's the reality of the situation.
It,
I always fail, but the reality is, when I win, it's way bigger than the fail.
yeah.
Way bigger.
Yeah.
He's got to stop looking at the fail. The fail or win. It's not what it is.
Do you
My
have,
wife teaches me this every single day.
do you have the in support of your argument? It's like the whole thing about like you've survived 100% of your bad days. Like you, like I've also been broke. I've also been like, you know, I still do.
You just think
yeah.
you're still broke.
Yeah, still
Everything's hey.
do have, you know, weeks and fortnights and days where I'm just like, fuck, how am I going to make this work?
Talk to people.
Yeah, but like,
Please share your sorrow, because that's all you need to do.
yeah, but just in hindsight, you look like again that like stop being scared of failure, because even when you failed, you're still here today. So,
No, I don't think like that. I think like, okay, well, this is a problem, man. Okay,
you've solved the problem.
I'm sure it will sort itself out. That's my internal
Yeah.
philosophy.
Yeah,
It's not I've solved it. I will never solve the problem.
but
because the
you've
problem
moved the
is-
needle though. You've moved the needle.
Absolutely, I have.
Yeah,
But that's not how I think. I have to think, well, what can I do right now to make it better than this?
Mm.
And it just eventually gets better and better and better.
you have said heaps about like the Indian culture being very communal. Do you think that fosters the ability to ask for help?
100%. My wife would tell you this incredibly well. All we do is ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's about control and how we can be better.
Where's the control aspect coming?
Control is that males control more,
Mm-hmm.
and so we ask for more help. The women comply.
So but as males, is there always an elder to ask for help?
And what?
So as males, who are you continuing to ask for help?
The women and men around us.
So you always ask for help from
The family
the
support.
families
Yeah.
support. So that's a very good environment. Well, that sounds to me like a very positive upbringing or a positive skill.
Yeah, if you don't know something, you'll ask someone for help.
Yeah,
That's the environment.
nice.
But it's not the right environment, by the way.
Yeah,
It's an environment.
and environment. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say about like good, like yeah, it's that aspect of the. Do you think it's trained to ask for help? Like,
Oh, absolutely. In our world, it is.
so what happens when you make a glaring mistake?
Like, for example, I can't think of one. Personally, I can't think of one.
Like,
I don't think it really matters.
Mhm.
Like, I'd rather not focus on that. I'd focus on positivity.
but in the community, if you make something, if you stuff up,
That's okay.
it's okay.
It's part of life.
Cool. Yeah. So back how we got started on this topic, which was good, was awesome. You know, that's why I love podcasting because I get to take heaps away. Where the continuing to learn, we're starting off like you've put all this effort in, you're starting at day naught, and you need to learn. You need to create your in optometry. You've invested a lot. You need to create your career. Why is learning and not worrying about the metric of learning, the points to your board, whatever. Why is that important?
So to answer your question.
So you were saying about you started off by saying about you've graduated optometry, you've put all this effort in.
Yeah.
Why is it important to continue to learn, to figure it out? Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with personal development.
Yeah.
It's with how can we be better
as
a human race. Like all the optometrists in the world, we can actually work together and everyone can have the same song sheet.
Yep.
That's really critical. Like, currently, we've got a big problem. New Zealand optometrists are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They understand the current science of what's going on in the world about most conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Says you broaden that out to Australia or the US, they got no idea.
And is it the stay in your lane type mentality?
I'm not sure if it's a stay in your lane. It's just an acceptance of science.
Do you find that ironic that New Zealand has such a tall poppy syndrome, yet we're pushing the boundaries when it comes to our provision?
Absolutely, 100%. No, I would not disagree with that sentence. Our tall poppy thing is infuriating, but at the same time, at the same time, it's very respectful when you go to teach someone who's come from abroad to work in our environment.
Yeah.
So I work in both fields, so I have to I accept students from abroad who have to go in their quarantine for 2 weeks, and they come and they learn optometry skills from our practice. I also have to work with exactly the example that you're saying, which is where we're like, it's just...
That's what we do.
Yeah. And so it's pretty hard.
So when I saw you talk at both NZAO, probably more NZAO, but also I saw you talk at...
Yeah, the NZAO talk was very much around, like, how can we be together?
Yeah, but why was that the most nervous? Like,
for me?
Yeah, whereas when we were at orthokeratology, one, you spoke a couple of times, but two, it was more of a broader community. Like, why was the NZA, New Zealand Association of Optometrists, why was that the most nervous?
It's more nervous for me because the people I care about the most, I want to impact and help those people more. I don't have to worry about Australia.
Yeah.
Right? But when you're in New Zealand...
Even though there's New Zealanders there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
When you're in New Zealand, you have a duty and responsibility to look after your folk. And that's what it's about.
So you've got corneal contact lens coming up. Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely, I feel the same way, but I'm lucky I did not put an amp in.
Yeah.
I've just left it. I don't want to... I'm very happy to share information, but I don't think I've got anything to offer right now.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think, like, and this is very, very narrow, what do you think is needed from the profession now in terms of what we're seeing in the community?
I think what people need to do is they need to actually look at participating more in anything. Optometry related, they need to participate. Because if they get stuck into this mode of, let's do online learning.
Yeah.
It's a lose for everyone because they don't get to share their genuine experiences.
And are you talking about in the conference hall or just in terms of, so like the beauty of the conference is that you get the sharing of ideas and conversations in
Conference hall and in person.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I say that.
And do you think that needs to step up to the speaking and presenting data as well? Is that going to
Not
move there?
necessarily, just just people being there.
The collegial aspect of it.
Yeah, just and talking.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that really matters.
Mm.
They'll read their papers.
Yeah.
It's just that's what's important.
So again, it's the tribe aspect of it. Isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think no?
No, I agree. I love the conference, and you brought up Snow Vision. Got canned because something happened last year. Can't remember.
Not sure what.
Bloody COVID. But I'm hoping that we get to go this year, and because that is a hard conference to go to. Like,
it's not easy. Yeah, no one wants to go to it, but they go, oh, it's not. Yeah, I'm there.
Like, so in perspective, it's the lectures start at 5:30 or 6. Then you go to the mountain. Then you come back.
At 2:30 afternoon, you have a labs.
No, there are some labs in there. There's some practical teachings, and then there's some more lectures, and then you go for dinner. And the first night you get there, you've also had a function, and that happens for 3 days. And so that's why it's a hard conference. But yeah, the reason why everyone goes and people have been going for like 20 years is because it's so collegial way.
That's the only reason why anyone goes to any conference.
Yeah.
It's about collegiality. That's all that really matters.
And is that intensified on the side of the speakers or not really?
No. Not really.
Not really. It's the fun of being with people, being with people similar.
Just
similar
think
ideas.
about it really basically. How do you feel about it?
I love it.
You love just going and catching up with your mates.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
That's what it's like-minded.
That's not complicated. That's what it is.
Yeah. Like-minded people.
Like, no one likes you. And most people still want to hang out with you.
They still sit at the same table. They don't get up and leave. Yeah. It's quite nice.
It's not your fault. You can't say you're black.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that. It's just
I'm from Chicago. I roll my ass.
you roll your ass. That's what they're really here. I'm like, oh, okay, well, there's something for us to look at. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. That's good. So people can't find you on social media, but they can see you at Roses. See what it did there.
I don't really know what that. Well, you can't see me anyway.
Yeah.
First of all, let's get it.
Oh, when are you getting your number plate, by the way?
Oh, it's coming soon. Coming soon.
The Black Rose.
Yeah. So the reason why it's called that, you know what it's called though?
Because Kent calls you that? You're old.
No, that's the reason I say to public. The real reason is because my great grandfather discovered the first black rose in the world.
Is it still
the
alive?
jungles of India.
Is it still around? Probably
No.
not. Humans.
Well, look, it's not me, it's you.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm Irish though.
So the
English.
license plate's name is BLKRSC. And the cover I will always say to my staff and my family is Black Rose.
Yeah.
That's my great-grandfather, man. I'm not going to
That's awesome.
dismiss him anyway, shape, or form.
Do you know what it's called? The sort of naming of it, or just called the Black Rose?
Well, it's a Black Rose that he found.
Yeah.
And it's the only one that's ever been discovered in existence.
That's mean. So
My leaving statement is when things go well for you, Jagrut, is there a concept or a sort of resonating quote that shows up for you? Also, or the
For me, it's always really simple.
Yeah.
It's about how can we all be better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really lucky.
Yeah.
So I'm having some troubles at the moment with my family, and the troubles at the moment are around what I'm doing and how I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But my main decision-making process is pretty simple. It's like, hey, no matter what happens, is this best for me and you
Mm-hmm.
and my family?
Yeah.
And that's the philosophy I'm working with. It might be wrong, but that's how I'm working on.
So, do you live that on all scale?
Oh, yeah, right now,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome.
There's no scale that's not that way, because that's where I'm having the most problems.
Mm-hmm.
When I have no alignment.
Yeah.
I need alignment.
Yeah.
And if I don't have my family in alignment, if I don't have my business in alignment, then I'm a lose-lose. I can have business in alignment and family not in alignment. That's a win-lose. That's all it is.
And so your three pillars: wealth, health, and family. Yeah.
But health and family are the same pillar. Because if my health is not good, then whether runs not good.
So if you're not here, then there's no family. Yeah.
It's a lose-lose.
Lose. Beautiful. We'll stop it.
Always something.
Yeah.